The Bible contains stories of mysterious creatures that most people don't even know about. For centuries, we've been taught about angels and demons, but there are beings far more dangerous hidden within the pages of Scripture. And for some reason, the church has kept their true nature hidden from us. Now, I'm not just talking about things you've heard with your friends. We're going to cover 5 of the most mysterious and controversial creatures in the Bible, beings that have been the subject of rumors and debates among scholars for centuries. Number 1. Nephilim. Their story begins in Genesis 6 verse 4, when fallen angels, known as the sons of God, descended to earth and did the unthinkable. They mated with human women. The result? A race of giants, the Nephilim, so powerful and corrupt that they nearly destroyed the world. These weren't just tall people. They were monstrous beings with incredible strength and intelligence, and they used it for evil. It gets worse. The Nephilim's violence and wickedness spread so far that it forced God to intervene by sending the Great Flood to wipe them out, along with most of humanity. Some scholars believe the bloodline of the Nephilim could have survived through key figures in history, secretly passed down from generation to generation. There's even a rumor that some of today's global elites, the ones pulling the strings behind major political and financial institutions, might carry Nephilim DNA. Crazy, right? But ask yourself this: why do some people seem to have unmatched power, intelligence, and influence? Could it be that the Nephilim's influence never really disappeared? Dr. Jonathan Redgrave, a controversial biblical historian, said in 2023, the Nephilim were more than just a story. Their existence explains the chaos and control we see today. Their bloodline didn't die, it evolved. And it's influencing the world in ways we're only beginning to understand. If that's true, the giants of the past may be shaping the present in ways we never thought possible. Number 2. Leviathan. The Bible describes Leviathan as a massive, fearsome sea monster, so powerful that even God himself challenges. Can you draw out Leviathan with a fishhook? Job 41. This isn't just some big fish, it's a force of pure chaos, something that cannot be tamed. But some theologians argue that Leviathan wasn't just a creature of the past. Instead, it represents ongoing chaos in the world, everything from natural disasters to political upheaval. Some have even claimed that Leviathan's chaos is fueling modern crises like hurricanes, earthquakes, and wildfires. Could it be that Leviathan is still out there, beneath the surface, causing the disasters we see today? In 2023, Dr. Susan Gregory, a theologian specializing in biblical creatures, shocked the academic world when she stated, "Leviathan isn't just a relic of the past. We see the chaos in the world today, rising sea levels, extreme weather, social breakdown. It's not a stretch to think that Leviathan's influence is as strong as ever." Is the monster really dead, or is it lurking just beneath the surface, waiting for its next move? Number 3. Behemoth. Next up is Behemoth, another creature mentioned in the book of Job. Described as a powerful land beast, Behemoth was said to be so strong that nothing could control it. It represents raw, untamed power, a force that not even God's creations can subdue. For centuries, people have risen up against oppressive governments, systems of power, and even religious institutions. Behemoth might symbolize this untamable spirit of resistance. Some scholars even suggest that Behemoth was left out of many church teachings on purpose, because if people understood its true meaning, they would realize that rebellion against authority is part of human nature. Could this be why Behemoth's story was downplayed? In her controversial 2022 research, Dr. Evelyn Carter argued, Behemoth is a symbol of humanity's refusal to be dominated. It's not just an ancient creature, it's the spirit of rebellion that still lives within us. And when the time is right, that spirit will rise again, just like Behemoth. Number 4. Azazel. Now let's talk about Azazel, one of the most controversial figures in ancient texts. The Bible briefly mentions him in Leviticus 16, where a scapegoat is sent into the wilderness for Azazel. But this raises a bigger question. Who or what is Azazel? Many believe that Azazel is a fallen angel, one of the watchers mentioned in the book of Enoch, who corrupted humanity by teaching us forbidden knowledge, things like warfare, weaponry, and dark arts. But here's the thing. Some say Azazel's influence never ended. Rumors persist that Azazel still whispers forbidden knowledge to those seeking power, leading them to start wars, manipulate economies, and dominate nations. In fact, Dr. Jonathan Redgrave claimed in a 2023 lecture that Azazel's teachings continue to influence humanity in ways we can't even comprehend. From the development of weapons of mass destruction to the manipulation of global politics, Azazel's dark wisdom is very much alive today. Could Azazel still be influencing world leaders, pushing humanity further into conflict and destruction? If this is true, it would explain the constant state of war and unrest we find ourselves in today. And if Azazel is still out there, manipulating events from behind the scenes, how can we ever hope to escape his influence? Number 5. Lilith. Finally, let's talk about Lilith. She's not mentioned in the Bible's canonical texts, but she appears in ancient Jewish writings and has become one of the most controversial figures in religious history. According to some versions of the story, Lilith was Adam's first wife before Eve, but here's the twist. She refused to submit to Adam and was cast out of the Garden of Eden. Lilith has been painted as a demon, a seductress, and a bringer of death, but modern scholars are now questioning that narrative. Dr. Rachel Levin suggested in 2022 that Lilith's story was twisted to serve patriarchal agendas. She wasn't a demon, she was a woman who refused to be controlled. In many ways, Lilith represents the first act of rebellion against male dominance. But not everyone agrees. Some still believe that Lilith is a demonic figure, responsible for causing death and destruction throughout the ages. Could it be that Lilith's rebellious spirit has influenced generations of women to challenge authority and fight for their independence? Lilith's story isn't just about ancient history. Her influence is still felt today, in the ongoing struggle for gender equality and the fight against systems of control. But whether she's seen as a symbol of rebellion or a demon of destruction depends on who you ask. So, what does all of this mean? The creatures we've discussed, Nephilim, Leviathan, Behemoth, Azazel, and Lilith, aren't just stories from ancient texts. Their influence is still felt today, in the chaos, the rebellion, and the struggles we see all around us. The church may have hidden their true meanings to avoid unsettling questions, but now that you know the truth, you can't unlearn it. These creatures represent forces that are still shaping our world. From hidden powers manipulating events, to the human desire for rebellion, to the chaos that disrupts our lives, these beings are not just relics of the past. If you're as fascinated by these mysteries as I am, make sure to subscribe. There's so much more to uncover, and I can guarantee you won't want to miss what we'll reveal next. These stories aren't finished, and you're part of the next chapter.